Just how much does draft capital matter when it comes to predicting future success for running backs? We're talking about that in today's video. As always, give us a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We put out dynasty and fantasy football content all year long, and we are 3 days away from the NFL draft. I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited. And that means dynasty rookie drafts are coming as well, probably in May for most of you, maybe a little bit later, but they're coming. Dynasty rookie drafts are coming. And I'm putting out these videos. I'm putting out 4, one for each fantasy position: quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver. And I'm looking at draft capital and just how much draft capital matters when it comes to fantasy successful running backs. And we can all agree draft capital is important. First round running backs do better than 7th round running backs. This is, logical, makes perfect sense. But I wanted to bring together all the numbers. I wanted to look at not just the difference between wide receivers and running backs, but also running backs, the difference between a 3rd round and a 4th round running back. What is the difference between a running back drafted in the 3rd and 4th round? Is there a difference? So again, looking at that in today's video. And what we're doing is we're starting off, by the way, the wide receiver video is already out, so check that out. I will be referencing it a little bit in this video, but check out the wide receiver video to see draft capital and the effects for receivers. And so what I did to start us off, I'm going to show you several graphs and charts. What I did to start us off is I went back to 2010 and I listed every single running back that was drafted. Every single running back that was drafted either in the 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round, all the way to the 7th round. And I divided them into 2 categories: hit and miss. Now, in order to hit as a running back, you needed to have 2 seasons as a top 24 running back. That's all. 2 seasons as a top 24 running back. Or 1 season as like a difference maker, a top 12 guy. That's it. I set the bar low for a reason. I wanted to get all the information. We had to include, put the bar kind of low to include some of the later rounds and stuff. That's it. 2 seasons of top 24. This is running backs from 2010 to 2022. I did not include the 2023 class. Also, if you were drafted in the 2022 class, you only needed 1 season since they've only played 2. So, as you can see here, we're looking at the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rounds. Top 10 picks at running back hit at 100% rate. There have been 7 running backs that have been drafted in the top 10 since 2010. All of them have hits. Now, I know some of you might be thinking Trent Richardson, and yes, he technically did hit because his rookie year, I believe it was, he was like a top 7 running back. So I considered that a hit. Now, I'm not going to argue whether, it was smart of them to draft him top 5 or whatever they did, or did he return value? Of course not. But he did give you that 1 season. And if he helped you win a championship, you really don't care if he busted after that. Outside the top 10, these are running backs that are still 1st round picks, just not in the top 10. They hit at just under a 60% rate, 58% to be exact. And then you look at 1st round, overall 1st round, top 10, non-top 10. They hit at a 74% rate. 74% rate, which is really, really good. If you compare that to receivers, 1st round receivers hit at a 50% rate. So 1st round running backs are much more likely to hit than 1st round receivers, almost 25% more. Then we look at 2nd round picks. 2nd round picks at running backs hit at 41% rate, and 3rd round picks at a 33% rate, which is really, really good. Again, you're looking at basically a 35% chance that a running back's going to hit if they're a day 2 draft pick in the NFL draft. You compare that to receivers, it's much lower. Receivers are at about a 27% hit rate if you're a day 2 pick. So much more likely, again, to hit as a running back. And you're going to see this. This is the theme throughout the whole thing. We're going to look at rounds 4 through 7 here. I'm going to pull that up for you. Rounds 4 through 7 running backs and just see how much they're hitting. Now, the numbers drop off quite a bit. So draft capital, does it matter? Yes. You want to be, at worst, a day 2 pick. Ideally. If you have a nice favorite prospect in this draft, you love Marshawn Lloyd, you want him to be a day 2 pick at worst, round 3. Because you look at the success rate for 4th round running backs. 12%. 12% of them hit. Pretty low. 5th round running backs, 14% of them hit. Right? Much, much lower than day 2 guys. Sixth round running backs at a 4% rate, seventh round running backs at a 5% rate. So it's tough. If you're drafted day 3 in the NFL draft as a running back, it's tough to be successful, but it's much more likely that you are successful compared to day 3 wide receivers. So if you combine these numbers, 12, 14, 4, and 5, right? Which I'm just going to double check my math here. You are hitting at a 9% rate. Any running backs drafted day 3 hit at a 9% rate. If you're a 4th or 5th round pick, however, you're hitting at about a 13% rate. So still a decent chance if you're a 4th or 5th round running back. If you compare that to receivers drafted day 3, rounds 4 through 7, hit at about a 3% rate total. That's it. 4th and 5th round receivers at about a 5.5% rate. So much, much lower than running back. So keep that in mind when you come to your dynasty rookie drafts. You're deciding between a round 6 receiver or a round 6 running back, or a round 5 receiver, around 5 running back. It's more likely the running back's going to hit. Now, are there exceptions? Are there Puka Nakuas and Tyreek Hills and Stephon Diggs in the 5th round? Of course. And if you really like someone, then draft them. But just wanted to give you guys the numbers and show you there. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, well, what about the guys who are the one-year wonders? They have one good year, and then you know that's all they had, right? There are running backs like that, and they have value, especially if they're later round picks or something. They have value. So what I did to kind of, show that hopefully was I went back to 2014. From 2014 to 2023, 10 years worth of data. And I looked at all the top 12 running back finishes each year. So 120 running backs, top 12 in each year from 2014 to 2023. And I broke it down to which round and where they were drafted. So over 19% of running backs finishing in the top 12 were drafted in the top 10 of the NFL draft. That's pretty significant, especially considering there's only 7 of them. If you compare that to second round running backs where there's 36 of them, pretty significant. Another 12.5% are coming from other first round picks. So combined first round picks here, look at them combined. First round picks are making up about 32% of the running backs drafted in the top 12. Second round pick, 25%. So we're up to 57%. And then another 17.5% are in the third round. So, of course, does draft capital matter? Yes, it does. But it matters a little bit less for running backs. A little bit, not a lot, but a little bit less. Okay. We're talking about 75% of running backs finishing in the top 12 are coming at worst day 2 picks. They're rounds 1 through 3 in the NFL draft. Now, again, you compare that to what receivers were at, and receivers, and I'm just double checking my math here. Receivers were at about 75% as well. Yeah, about 75% as well. So very, very similar numbers when looking at top 12 guys. Yeah, very, very similar numbers when looking at top 12 finishes. Okay. So you really do want, it's about 23% to 77%. It is interesting to note undrafted free agents are doing better as a receiver or running back than 7th and even 6th round and even 4th round picks as well. I think a lot of that has to do because you get to choose your team when you're an undrafted free agent as opposed to getting drafted by that team. And you can go to a team that develops receivers well, or they have an opening for running backs. Now, where I think we start to see the separation for running backs is when we look at top 24. Now, this includes top 12 guys. This includes all running backs finishing in the top 24, 1 through 12, 13 to 20 through 24, from 2014 to 2023. Okay. And as we can see here, we get a little bit more towards the later round guys making a difference. Okay. So if we combine all these numbers here, we're looking at roughly just under 70%. Just under 70% of running backs finishing in the top 24 are coming from rounds 1 through 3 in the NFL draft, which means that we're looking at about 30% of the running backs, about 28%. 7th round is it is 20%. 7th round's not listed here. 7th round, I believe, is about a 1% or so. So about 30% of running backs finishing in the top 24 are actually 4th round picks or later. Yeah, 4th round picks or later. And again, you compare that to wide receivers. You compare that to wide receivers finishing in the top 24, and it's pretty drastic, the difference here. Just double checking once again. 82% of receivers finishing in the top 24 are coming from rounds 1, 2, or 3 of the NFL draft. 82% compared to 70%. That's a pretty significant difference. So again, hopefully this information helps you a little bit. And what it shows to you is, yes, draft capital matters. For wide receivers, you want to be a 1st or 2nd round pick. For running backs, you want to be at worst a day 2 pick, right? But also, when it comes to the later rounds, the rounds 3 or 4 of your dynasty rookie drafts, and you're deciding between 5th round players, the running backs are more likely to hit and more likely to make a difference. Quite significantly, I would say, as top 24 guys. So there you have it, guys. We will be putting out a quarterback and tight end video. Give us a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Hopefully it helped you game plan for your dynasty rookie drafts, and I hope you enjoy the NFL draft, and catch you all in the next video.